Today's episode is a break from the expose and instead focuses on a pretty wholesome tale about two velociraptors, but we're going to be focusing on one of them today, a velociraptor by the name of Stripe. Before we get into anything else, I need to explain a company by the name of Mantah-Corp. These guys are the ones responsible for actually putting this Velociraptor Stripe into the Colorado Dinosaur Preserve. It's unknown as to how they acquired it, but this raptor was sent by Mantah-Corp over to the Colorado Dinosaur Preserve in hopes that the raptor could actually reproduce with Velociraptor Blue, the last surviving Velociraptor that Ingen ever created. Stripe and Blue did not immediately get along, but over time the two raptors grew to be fond of each other. The two raptors did a lot together, but probably the most notable thing is that the two coordinated hunts together. Stripe and Blue on very regular occasions would go out trying to find small prey for both of them to eat. And this was the first spark that would lead to Stripe and Blue having a relationship later in the future. But this was not just a reproductive relationship, but instead a relationship where the two dinosaurs would form bonds together and eventually have a child. The child was very creatively nicknamed Blue Stripe. As nice as this all is, there is sadly an ending to it which is not as nice whatsoever. Back in early December of 2021, Stripe the Velociraptor somehow escaped from the Colorado Dinosaur Preserve and has not been seen since. I wish I could tell you more about Stripe or where he might be, but really, we have absolutely no idea. While some might see more Velociraptors as a bad thing, Stripe was specifically made to where he could continue on a population. His purpose was nothing but pure. But I do have one final thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Stripe the Velociraptor, for it seems that we really do not know much about his origin. Now, of course, we do not know every single origin story for a Velociraptor. However, this one is supposedly a Mantah-Corp variety, as in they created it. But Stripe is almost identical to the Ingen Velociraptors. Looking at the body structures for both Stripe and Blue together side by side, you really cannot see much of a difference. So how did Mantah-Corp create this raptor? Did they use an Ingen genome that was weirdly lying around? Or did they for some reason have an Ingen Velociraptor on hand? As you can see, what turned into a pretty peaceful episode quickly turned into an expose, but not against Ingen, instead Mantah-Corp. But I believe that's where we're going to end this episode. Stripe has a very interesting story, but there is definitely some puzzle pieces missing from it. If we're lucky, maybe one day they will be answered. But that's all I have for you on this episode. And remember, if something chases you, run.